I remember that when I started the program, I couldn't even join two sentences together, and it wasn't because I didn't know how to make them. I mean, I had studied English my whole life, so I knew how to speak English, but it wasn't as easy for me as it is now to connect my ideas, to convey a certain idea. So I guess that that would be one of the biggest differences that I've noticed. So my name is Armando. I live in Mexico City and I study here as well. I'm an undergrad student, currently pursuing my degree on applied mathematics and computer engineering. I started this program because I wanted to improve my English level for an internship that I had in Los Angeles.
So you said that you wanted to improve your English level because you had this internship coming
Yeah.
a couple of months ago. How did you find me, or how did you end up joining the program?
Mm. I remember that I was looking for a class that was a little different from what I was used to. So I wanted to find something that could help me improve my pronunciation and my fluency. And I saw one of your videos on Instagram, and that's what that's how I got into contact with you. I found your profile. I watched a couple of your videos, and I realized that this was what I wanted this was the type of class that I wanted to have. I mean, the only thing that I had clear is that I didn't want the same type of classes that I had at school.
Mhm.
So when I realized that this was not only focused on my pronunciation, but it could also help me with the whole context of business and internships, well, I realized that I really wanted to take the class.
Mm. That's good to know. Good to know. Thank you. Hey, and I know that the program may seem a little bit disruptive because we are not working with a book or the typical English levels. And was there any doubt or fear that you had before starting the program?
Not really. I mean, I thought it was a good thing that we didn't work like that. Um, I mean, I guess that that is one way of learning English, but in my mind, that would never be as natural as the way a native English speaker speaks, or it wouldn't get you to that level.
Yeah, totally, totally. And one thing that I always talk about with people who want to join the program, but they're a bit unsure, I always ask them about their experience because they tell me, oh, I've been doing like courses here, there, at university, at school, in an institute, and so on. And they never get where they want to be. So doing more of the same will not get you where you want to be in terms of speaking, in terms of confidence when you speak, or in terms of doing what you want to do with the language. So yeah. And once you got started in the program, what was your experience like? Because you had the internship in at the very beginning of it, and then traveling and some changes, right?
I think at the beginning, I tried to cram as much information as possible into my brain. I remember that one of the first things that we talked about was the way that English consonants are pronounced. So I remembered that I was on the plane on my way to Los Angeles, repeating all of the consonants and trying to produce the sounds that I needed to. Um, so at the beginning, I think I was in a bit of a rush to learn as much as possible before the internship started. Um, and yeah, I mean, we have had our challenges trying to match each other's time schedules. Yeah, the time difference were definitely a challenge. Uh, but so far, I think it's been great. I learned more than I thought I would because we didn't only focus on the pronunciation aspects, but also on the I would say all of the surrounding um, topics and theme that allow you to have a better conversation or a better conversation with a lot of people in different settings.
Yeah, totally, totally. And connecting that, what you just said with the typical ways of learning English, pronunciation is like the smallest unit of sounds and yes, of or even of words and things that you can produce in any language. And we focused on that, and we also focused on the other aspect of the language, right? Like the context, what we do when we are speaking, so that it's not just words, how we put them together, but also like everything around it. And how did that help you during the internship? It was amazing because you had to learn while you were also living the language at the same time, like fully immersed in the language and the culture.
I think it gave me all of the tools that I needed to find the mistakes that I was making. So, in a way, I didn't really need to have. Well, yeah, I think it was that was the main difference from my English level before I started the class. This gave me the framework to start to analyze the things that I was doing wrong or the things that I was pronouncing wrong, and I think there was what I started to be conscious about when I was there, because I always knew that my English sounded a bit weird, but I wasn't sure why that was. And yeah, being there, I started to talk to other foreign national students and a lot of people from different places. I could pinpoint what it was that made their English sound a way, or what it was that made my English sound a certain way. Yeah,
So it gave you like very specific tools for analyzing. Mm.
yeah, exactly.
Did that allow you to communicate better with natives and non-natives during the stay in Los Angeles?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there was a couple of a couple of yeah, a couple of words that I was mispronouncing, and it was hard for a couple of people to understand. But as soon as they pronounced it in a different way, I could pinpoint where the difference was, or maybe if I was. Yeah, I think that was it because I had some trouble with my consonants when we first started. That it was because I had never learned what the difference was between the two type of bees or the
Yeah,
and
totally. And that's something that we always take for granted. I have worked in institutes and I have been told many times, don't worry, they'll figure that out. They'll just mimic you. But sometimes you're not paying attention to that because typically we pay attention to words and how we group them together, how we conjugate things, but never fully paid attention to, hey, the Spanish sound system is different from the English sound system. They have some similarities, but lots of differences. And our ears are not trained to listen to the subtleties of one consonant versus the other one. And many words may sound the same because of that. Mm. But to others, uh, they do make a difference. They do. So, in terms of pronunciation and the other topics that we worked on during the program, what do you think of the content? The videos, the material, the activities, were they useful? Were they clear?
work through the topics that we saw throughout the class. But I think they also highlighted where my um, mental lagoons were. I was able to realize what it was that I wasn't understanding fully. The I think that was useful because we could I could bring my questions and doubts into the next class, and that way, I could also try to solve them myself. But being guided by you, I don't know if that makes sense, but I think what I liked, I think that was what I liked and what I found the most useful
Mhm.
to be able to try to work through these things. Really gives a whole other level to learning English other than just sitting in a classroom and listening or sitting in class and listening.
You mean that sense of independency as
Yep,
you're trying to solve the challenges because they're not as easy or as typical as complete with the right form,
exactly.
correct word. It's just more of a reflection kind of work that you have to do, right? And sometimes some problem solving with new tools that you have now. Either it is pronunciation or maybe fluency or connection. Yes, 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 yes. And what about the challenges? Because we also had to record ourselves doing some challenges.
Those allow me to put into work what I had learned throughout the class, and allow me to maybe develop all of these things in a more natural way that in a more natural way than just doing exercises. So it was really great to put everything into context and to try to solve a real world challenge that could present itself. Um, so I think it was really useful to put everything into practice that way.
And not just accumulating knowledge, right? Like building up and building up, and then wondering, okay, how does that look or sound like in my English? How do I look when I do this? But actually see it. Did you enjoy seeing or watching your videos, or was this awkward? Did you gain anything from that experience?
I think I always was a little bit nervous about watching myself talk in my videos. Um, but it was good. I mean, I'm sure I know that it's good for me to understand what what mistakes I'm making and what I could improve on. But it's always kind of challenging to look at yourself making mistakes.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I still struggle with that. I make lots of my videos in English, and we have this biased view from ourselves. We know what we look like on the mirror, and now watching that video, maybe having someone else watching that video, seeing what we can see or what we think we see and sound like, can be challenging. But once you get rid of that bias and start focusing on what's the actual aim or the objective of watching or listening to yourself, like for example, the five vocal foundations or the pronunciation, connection or whatever, it starts to make more sense because we only focus on that, not I sound awkward. I mispronounced that word when we weren't focusing on that, and I think that takes some weight off from our shoulders when we do that. So after watching your videos and watching the challenges or completing the challenges, and also after the program, how has your English or your confidence changed?
I remember that when I started the program, I couldn't even join two sentences together, and it wasn't because I didn't know how to make them. I mean, I had studied English my whole life, so I knew how to speak English, but it wasn't as easy for me as it is now to connect my ideas, to convey a certain idea. So I guess that that would be one of the biggest differences that I've noticed, and also that now I have the mental framework to work through a lot of challenges and to find the mistakes that I'm making and to actually hear them. Now I can hear better what mistakes I'm making, and that way I can also work on them and correct them throughout time. Yeah, correct them. Um, yeah, in due time.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's a very powerful statement. Having the tools for the metacognition that you need when you speak a language, to understand what you can improve in real time, and also outside when you look at it from the distance, to analyze what can be better. And that's something that you can replicate in time. So it's not just, okay, I learned it now. I can fix some issues that I had with pronunciation or communication, whatever, but I can still apply them to all things I do in English and also in Spanish. That's something that I truly enjoy about communication. It's applicable to all the languages once you have the tools. So another question I have: has your confidence improved during the program?
Yes, yes, I would say that I would have been nervous to do anything like this interview now. Um, before I started with this whole thing, but now I know that I'm probably making a couple of mistakes, but I'm not so worried about them. I think um I've improved a whole lot, and I'm just happy with that improvement and confident enough to talk with whoever it is that it's to talk to me in English.
Wow. Oh, that's really, really good. Really good. I was talking to a friend. He's an English person from England, and he was telling me exactly the same thing. Native speakers make mistakes all the time. It's just that we take for granted. We are so confident in our mother tongues that we don't care if we make a mistake. We keep on talking. That's one of the things that mattered most, because if you make yourself understood regardless of the mistakes, people will not pay attention to them. It's just that we have to like quiet down those voices of the typical ways of or traditional ways of learning that say, okay, you made a mistake here, you make a mistake there. um, what was the problem? What was the syntax? With the correct syntax or the correct grammar? So focus more on confidence rather than perfection. uh,
Mm.
is one of the best tools that we could acquire. So, what did you enjoy most about the program?
I mean, the first part of the program where we're focusing on pronunciation and the fluency and the pronouncing different consonants, the vowels and deep tongues. I think it was really fun to finally understand why it is that English sounds a certain way. So I really enjoyed that. And now in the weekly basis or in our weekly classes, I really enjoyed getting to practice this English in a more natural way or having a more natural conversation. So that was really fun as well.
Oh, that's cool. That's good to know. Thank you. Thank you so much. I noticed that many of the students, at first, they struggle with pronunciation because you're not just learning to pronounce things, you're learning a new language, which is the pronunciation language. But if you have an open mind and you like the challenges and you like, it's in a way it's similar to a code, right? Because you have different symbols and they mean different things, and you group them together and you thought you had a word, but in fact you had another one, because writing is not the same as the symbols for pronunciation. And if you accept the challenge, it's super fun. I remember there was a time. Oh, bless you.
Pretty good.
I remember there was a time in college in which we were giving these audios, like long audios, and we had to write the pronunciation symbols in real time, 5 minutes audios, and we were like 5 minutes writing. Bless you again.
Thank
Um,
you.
I'll show you one day those pieces, like long pieces of text of pronunciation symbols, and they're like, what the hell is this? They look like Chinese or any other language except English. And it was really fun. It was really fun once you start enjoying the challenge of it. So I have two last questions to ask you. One of them is, what are you taking away from the program?
Um, would say that it's okay to make mistakes. As you said before, as you said earlier, local native speakers make a lot of mistakes and they don't focus as much as a lot of non-native speakers do on them. Um, so I would say, yeah, um, it's really what you said earlier. When you feel confident in your language, you don't focus on those mistakes and you just keep talking over. Or maybe you have enough confidence to play with the language and to modify certain things that aren't technically correct, but that other speakers will understand you if you talk that certain way. So yeah, that's my biggest takeaway. The language is not a set thing. It's not a preset thing. It's something that you can play with. It's something that you can change. Something that you can definitely have fun with.
Oh, that's a really, really good one.
Yeah,
Really, really powerful. Having fun with the language. Yes. Allowing yourself to have fun with the language, not just right or wrong. Like, let's
exactly.
co-create the language together. Really cool. Hey, and my last question is, what would you say to someone who wants to start real English but is a bit unsure about the contents, about the outcome, about anything?
Say that putting enough effort and work and the attention into something, it's always gonna be worth it. I mean, you're always gonna get something out of the mental effort and the time and the time you put into solving the exercise, just practicing these materials. So that if they want to improve their English, this is certainly a course or a class that will allow them to do so, and that they should put the effort into it, whatever, one way or another.